Hello, everyone. Happy Valentine's Day. Thank you for coming today. Who's here for the first time tonight, please? Okay, a few people. Thank you for coming. Very briefly, just to bring everyone up to speed as to what happens here and how you participate, this is a channeling, which I'm assuming, is there someone here who's not familiar with channeling at all? Okay. All right. That helps. A little less explanation. The procedure here is that when Bashar makes the connection, when he comes through, he will say what he thinks is appropriate for the group for a few minutes, but he's going to turn the majority of the session over to you for questions and answers. So if you have questions, that's your opportunity to engage him in dialogue, and it does not matter what the subject is. It can be personal, it can be cosmic, as long as you're comfortable talking about it in front of a group. There's no other reason to hold back. So if you have something of interest you want to talk about, please by all means do so. And the way this happens is pretty informally. We, after he's done talking, in I guess what we basically call his monologue, he will say something like, "How may I serve you?" At that point, that's your cue, and you'll catch on very quickly. You'll see the people just automatically go, "Bashar," out loud. He will point at you in whatever order he deems is important. And then what you need to do is simply wait until you are handed, do you have the mic or does someone else have? Oh, you have the mic, okay. We have a remote mic so that we can make sure we get your questions clearly on the tape, so wait until that's handed to you, and then just go ahead and talk to Bashar as you would talk to anybody. And that will be for the duration of the session, which lasts roughly about 2 hours. Does anyone have any questions about procedures or anything they think they need to understand here in order to participate more clearly? Are you all pretty straightforward on that? I'm sorry, what? What do you want? This? 462-5282? Oh, well, you can call her and get a better understanding, but basically she's showing a number, she's showing on the day before this, on the Friday and also on the Saturday, she's showing some recent footage, I guess, that's been taped by various people that have been put together, and a number of other things on the film about UFOs and so forth. And then she's having Bashar answer questions or have dialogue with people about what they saw on the films. I will be channeling there. Bashar will be talking to people about what was on the films, and this will be at her house. So you need to call Sabra. 213, so, yeah. She's on, like, Burden or something, or somewhere around there. Anyway, call her and find out more info on that. All right, so, again, thanks for coming. Have a good time, and see you all later. Have fun. very good day to you this day, Peter Time. How are you all? Once again, we will extend to each and every one of you our deep appreciation for allowing this transmission to transpire through this window in this way on this day. Each and every time, once again, you allow such a transmissional contact to take place. It expands also our understanding and our experience of all the different ways that the infinite has of expressing itself by interacting through each and every unique expression that each and every one of you individually are as a reflection of that infinite. So we thank you for our expansional experience, and we would like to discuss the following ideas in this transmission. In the recognition of what you would call the timing on your planet of what you have labeled your day of Valentine, your day of the heart, we would like to address that a little bit. But we would also like to extend a little bit beyond that into some other areas, other arenas of thought. First and foremost, of course, it is obvious to each and every one of you that you recognize this day is set aside to honor the idea of something that we trust you will also allow into your lives every other day of your year, which is the idea of love, expansion, openness, sharing, communication. All the aspects of positive, constructive expansion in your lives that is an extension of unconditional love, both unconditional love of the self and unconditional love of all that is within creation, every being, every person, place, and thing. But in that you honor this, again, it is recognition now that there has been, on this day of your timing, a subtle shift occurring in the reality of your time, of your consciousness, of your world this day. So to speak, if you will extend your senses and feel what you may call or label the softness of the day you experienced in your locale, a softening of reality, a blurring of the edges now is possible. To extend your senses even further, to allow yourself to sense more, to perceive more, to experience more than you may have heretofore thought any particular single individual was capable of experiencing with regard to the connection between yourself and all individuals. If you are willing to extend your senses now, you will find that pockets of reality, of a new reality, of a more blended reality are now beginning to spring up around your world in a more accelerated, a more expanded fashion. It is as if there are small bubbles of the new reality beginning to grow, beginning to merge here and there, touch edges for the first time, blurring those heretofore existent barriers between individualized limitation, and now beginning to operate on a bigger level, bigger picture. You can now, because of this softening taking place of your reality edges, begin to truly experience, if you are willing to extend your senses to do so, begin to truly experience more of other individuals' reality perspectives. You can junction with them, link with them, feel as they feel, know what they know, think as they think. As you say in your language, walk in their shoes. Identify in resonance and vibration with more and more people on your planet than ever before. Truly, as if you share one neurological system. You can begin to now experience this more tangibly than ever before, more than just the concept, more than just the thought, more than just an imagination exercise. If you are willing to do this, you will begin to actually feel, to experience physically the idea of sharing perspectives and thoughts, experiences, feelings, points of view with many other beings on your planet. And of course, I am not just talking about the humans, but all the forms of consciousness and all the forms of life are now far more available to you if you will extend yourself from your heart center. Expand from your balance point within your energy field and allow more of that self-love and more of the idea of alignment with the unconditional love of the infinite into your lives. You will experience this shift in your reality very greatly. You will not by any means lose your individuality in so linking with other individuals. In fact, it will strengthen your own identity, even as you find your capability increasing in blending and supporting the whole of your collective consciousness. For as you support the whole, as you experience the whole, you allow the whole to support the individual components of which it is created. So do not worry about becoming homogeneous in the sense of losing your individuality. That will never happen as long as you allow yourself to be fully who you are. Then simultaneously will there be the blending and the individualization that will strengthen every aspect of your reality. And again, remember, this is not just philosophy. This is not just a nice idea being wrapped in a pretty package and presented to you. But the idea is that this is physics, this is about energy, it is about vibration, it is about frequency, it is about resonance, it is about being who you are and allowing your reality to reflect in every way possible back to you the rewards, the fruits of exactly what it means to be made in the image of the infinite creation. Allow yourself this opportunity to expand your love and expand your neurological senses into all other beings to see through their eyes. You will find it exceedingly rewarding, and it will illuminate many dark corners that may remain within the individualized and compartmentalized components of your own individuated consciousness. For in looking through others' eyes, you see reality from different perspectives and see yourself from a different point of view, a point of view that may finally allow you to see something that you were heretofore afraid to see, or that you heretofore didn't know you could see about yourself. And in illuminating that new perspective, you will know more of who you are, which will only increase your ability to allow your reality to reflect back to you that much more of the possibility that exists within each and every one of you for creating your reality to be what you prefer it to be, instead of going along with what you have simply been taught for generations it must be, which is no longer so. We would also like to share with you this thought, this day of your time, with regard to the relationship that exists between your civilization and our civilization, in that we have explained and described to you often the idea that we are, as a civilization, in a sense, the genetic product of the blending of your civilization with what you call another extraterrestrial civilization. In many ways, of course, as we have explained, this makes us, so to speak, your descendants. You are, then, so to speak, our ancestor. In many ways, this makes us your children. And yet, as many of you observe and as many of you feel, the relationship that exists between us is almost as if you are our children. The idea is that it is both. And the idea is that we are, in a sense, representative and symbolizing the future potentiality of your reality, of your civilization, of your earth. And we represent the ability of what you typically consider your future, best, idealized self to be, reaching back through time to you, to urge you forward into your best self, into your whole self, so that the cycle and the loop is completed, so that the self upgrades the self, so that you know it is an ever-expanding, never-ending spiral upwards if you choose it to be. And we are here to reflect to you this idea and remind you that your potential is unlimited, that you are truly infinite, and we are simply one small reflective aspect of the idea that you crave upon your world to experience as your civilization in all its potential, in all its creativity, in all its ability to rearrange itself and align itself and experience itself as it wants to, as it desires to, as it knows that it can in its heart of hearts, in its true, centered, natural beingness. You know that your dreams have life. You know that your imagination can be real. You know that you can live your dreams instead of just dreaming about being alive. And we strongly urge you to love yourself enough to do so. For now, the shift will allow, as we have said, fewer barriers in your ability to stretch out, reach out, to encompass the totality of your civilization and its collective consciousness. And at the same time, compound, expand, reinforce the unique, shining, brilliant individual each and every one of you was created to be. We thank you for allowing us to remind you of this notion and to share with you this particular point of view this day of your time, in return for the gift that you are giving our civilization and communicating to you in this transmission in this way on this day. I ask in return, in what way now may we be of service to you? You, and then you. Number one, number two. Number two, do you know who you are? Number two, do you know who you are? All right, number one, good day.
Hi, Bashar. Happy Valentine's Day.
All right, and the same to you in your culture.
I have a bunch of questions relating to the Greys, and it's appropriate that you talked about getting behind people's feelings and who they are, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do with my new project right now.
What you are doing.
What I am doing, exactly.
Not trying to do, what
You're
you are
right.
doing.
Thank you for correcting me.
I'm not correcting you, I'm giving you an option.
Well, it's my option to do it, and I'm doing
right.
it. And in that exploration of understanding who the Greys are, I was curious, first of all, if you can give me a referral or some background on their history and what resource I could tap into, such as, I know Courtney Brown gave a lot of information, or there's...
Much information does exist in many different aspects of the literature that exists on your planet. Of course, there is a great deal of confusion regarding this, but certainly foundationally you can understand that there is truth to the notion that they are a civilization that has rendered themselves sterile, and in this way has, in many aspects, destroyed what used to be their shining civilization, and are now, at least on one level, attempting to, shall we say, glean from your species and several other species the genetic material that allow them to create a hybridized race that they can incarnate into that would allow them to recapture the former level of their resonance and frequency that they deem is possible for them. And ultimately, as in my time frame, in what you call your future, there will no longer exist the Grey civilization, but only those that they have created to be the hybrid bodies they can incarnate into, so that their civilization can recapture what they believe they have lost. They recognize that there are many similar circumstances going on your planet, similar to what they have done to themselves in terms of rendering their environment sterile, polluted, incapable of reproducing, so on and so forth. And they recognize that while they are creating the idea of a new hybrid race that will, in a sense, be an extension of their civilization, not that your civilization is doomed, but they are also, shall we say, hedging their bets to create the hybrid race also as a potential extension of your civilization, should your civilization decide, in a sense, to sterilize itself as well as they did. That gives you the basic foundation, and of course there are many variations to this idea, and many ways that this can go. It is not by any means what you might perceive to be a hopeless scenario in that sense, and of course there are many potential future realities depending upon what your civilization decides to do with its planet in this day and age. It can go any number of ways still, even though obviously you are creating many dire circumstances environmentally on your world. There are still ways that you can alleviate this and transform your planet in very beneficial ways, but that of course is up to you. This lays the skeletal framework for the idea of why you, your civilization, and the Greys have attracted yourselves to each other, for in a sense you are polarity reflections of each other. While they represent the idea of the ultimate hive mentality, and you represent the ultimate idea of individuation, you have a lot to learn from each other in terms of blending this into a centered kind of being that exhibits the qualities of both individuality and collective heart. But the idea is that is the fundamental reason why their civilization is the way it is, although, of course, we are only being generalized about this, and there are many different factions and many different levels, even within the Greys, that do not necessarily experience what we have just outlined to you, although that is the general, fundamental line for why the Greys exist in the form that they do at your contemporary time frame. Their history also stems back similar to your own genetic history, which is why they are capable of extracting genetic material from you that can create a hybrid race. For you are distantly related in some of the ancient cultures from the Lyran star systems and so forth. In the Orion star systems and so forth, you share common history genetically, and thus they have the capability of seeing you as distant cousins closely related enough to be able to derive genetic material from you for their purposes of reinvigorating their own civilization. Understand?
Yes.
Does that help you?
Well, I have some more questions relating to this.
Be brief.
All right. I know that some Greys live on ships and others are underground dealing with our military. Can you, and some even
This is only something that exists from time to time. There are not really any longer what you would call continuously manned stations or bases where a high degree of interaction takes place between the Greys and your military. This happens infrequently at this time on your planet. For there are many changes in the agenda that have occurred, Many things are now stepping up. Many new aspects of the overall program are now being put into effect, and this no longer requires such direct interaction between their civilization and certain factions of your own military and or government.
Am I having abductions by the military?
From time to time, some of you have, yes.
And so
It is not necessarily as frequent as you may think, but from time to time it has happened.
What's their purpose for taking me?
To understand what is going on in the interactions that some of you may be having with the extraterrestrials, which to them is in a sense a secret, since they are deprived of much of the information that some time ago they were privy to. So they attempt to learn what is going on through many of the so-called abductees, since they are being kept in the dark themselves.
Are the implants that I have from the Greys or from the military?
Gray.
And the scoop mark that I just discovered on my leg, how old is that? How long have I had that?
Years.
Years.
But you will find that sometimes you are rendered incapable of seeing such things until certain moments, until such time as suggestions wear off within your consciousness.
That's why I couldn't find it before, and
Yes.
all of a sudden I saw it.
Yes. You will find that many of you have such marks on your body that you cannot see until such time as the screen is lowered from your consciousness.
Is that the same reason I lost the roll of film where I took photos of my marks?
No.
Will I ever find that roll of film?
No.
Okay.
The idea is that it is similarly connected, but the idea is more that you are giving yourself an opportunity to utilize the screen to understand the nature of how reality is created. It is not why you lost the roll of film in that sense, but the idea is that you were testing yourself and your ability to extend your senses to seeing what is there in the reality that you prefer to see into, instead of relying upon your technological assistance. This is specific to your case, not necessarily all cases, as to why you are playing that particular game with your film.
Okay. We spoke a while ago about, I had a hypnotic regression where I sensed that there was one particular Gray who was working closely with me.
Yes.
I gave him the appellation Oscar, and you said that wasn't really correct, and I'd like to know what his real name is.
He does not have a real name. They do not have names as such in that sense. So I cannot give you a real name. What we were simply telling you is that the appellation Oscar is not necessarily indicative of his frequency or vibration as a name.
Well,
So to give you another appellation would not be to give you his real name, but to give you perhaps something that is a closer approximation to his frequency of consciousness, which you could use, in a sense, as a surrogate name, but it is not what you typically understand on your planet as a given name. Follow?
Yes, I do. And could I have what that appellation would be, or what that frequency would be?
It is more close to the idea you would call Ozzy.
Ozzy.
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. Also, we discussed the idea. Somebody had mentioned that I am teaching hybrids, and you confirmed this.
Yes, many of you are.
What kind of things am I teaching them?
We will discuss that at another time. But we will also tell you this. Now that certain shifts have occurred, we are also able to share with you the information that there is an escalation of contact between the Greys and the children on your planet.
Huh.
Especially young children who are being given information about some of the changes taking place on your world to best prepare them.
Is that what's happening with the channel's niece?
Yes.
Okay. And I assume that you'll be dealing with Daryl directly, giving him insight.
When and where appropriate, yes.
Okay. And lastly, Antoinette's roommate, Christine, recently channeled a painting for Janice of her daughter Ariana, and we were both very curious to know if this is an accurate portrayal of Ariana.
No.
It's not. Okay.
It is more of an accurate portrayal of what you would call the watcher of the children, of which her daughter is a group. Not the idea of the child, but what you would call the overseer, the nurse, the teacher, the caretaker of the group of hybrid children of which her daughter is a part. You understand?
Yes, because she sensed that her daughter was much younger, and the
Yes.
entity came through as a young woman.
Yes.
So how old is her daughter in terms of an age she can relate to?
More along the lines of what you would call 5 to 7 in your human years.
The same as Ariel?
Close. Yes.
Are they friends?
They are of a batch.
Uh-huh. So my children and her children are all kind of together in this group, in the same...
There are different groups, but they are linked. They have different caretakers, but they are linked. They are of a batch, yes, even though they may not necessarily always be in physical proximity, though from time to time they have encountered one another for a variety of, well, I'll put it in your euphemistic nomenclature, field trips.
Okay. And are my children feeling the love that I'm sending them?
Always. Though they do not necessarily always understand how to translate it or interpret it, they feel it, and it is energy that they can use, and in fact, in that sense, all of those hybrid children understand that they are receiving some form of consciousness energy contact from the humans on the planet of Earth that are connected to them familially, and it is, in a sense, their assignment to figure out exactly how to interpret or process that energy and how to render it within themselves in the understanding of a balanced emotionality and mentality, which is one of the things they are learning to do.
Is that part of what I'm teaching them, is how to channel or to transform their emotions?
You are very sneaky. In some senses, yes, though it is not direct. In other words, you do not stand there and go, now children, this is what we are going to cover today. But yes, that is part of what, in a sense, your presence teaches them. Do you understand this?
Yes. And lastly, this time for real, are there man-made grays?
In what context do you mean this?
Or are military constructing a sort of biogenic gray that they're using for their purposes of getting more information?
There is a type of what you would call genetic experimentation on the part of your military to construct, as it were, to use your term, the idea of a subservient life form. But it is not what you would call a gray, though I suppose it is similar in the context that it is a relatively sterile form. They have not yet had much success with this.
Thank you so much.
Number 2. Good day.
Good day. Sure. I have a couple of things I want to talk to you about.
Yes.
On Saturday morning,
Yes.
I was going about my business, getting ready to leave
To leave what?
my house.
Oh, all right.
I sat down on the bed to read something, and all of a sudden I had this incredible surge of energy come over me, literally.
Oh, all right. And?
And I had to put down what I was reading and go sit in meditation.
Oh, all right, if you had to.
I just couldn't help myself.
Oh, all right. Maybe someone else was helping you then.
Yes. All I kept thinking of was that Bashar is all over me. I mean, the energy was so, I was ecstatic and so incredibly loving and energetic.
Are you surprised by this?
No,
Are you surprised about finding this within yourself?
I guess I was sort of shocked because I was literally overcome.
Yes.
And I have spent maybe at least through Wednesday, I had these surges come through me.
Yes.
Like this.
Yes.
Now, was I just open in that moment to receive
Yes.
this energy?
Yes.
Did you have anything to do with this?
Yes. In the sense that it had,
Yes.
to some degree, been, shall we say, suggested to you in one such session as this,
Right.
but that there was a time-delayed reaction so that you did not experience it until you were ready to open. It did not happen in your terms at that moment, but it was given to you as an energy, as a frequency to resonate, to match, and you finally allowed yourself to let go and match it. And so you experienced it at that moment, but it was given to you before. Many of you have been, in a sense, implanted with this from us in exposure to the radiation, so to speak, of our particular frequency in these transmissions and interactions. But they are all on what you would call time release programs, according to the idea of your best estimate as to when you are capable and, shall we say, when it is appropriate for you to experience matching that frequency. We do not force this upon you, but you open the door that allows us to plant the seed. It blossoms when you decide to pour the water and the sunshine on it. You understand?
Yes, I do, and I would love to stay there in that state.
No, you don't. You want to expand beyond it.
Expand it beyond, okay. Now, the next thing that happened during the week, I went to a Reiki
Yeah, it's understood.
sort of demonstration.
Yes.
And I was motivated to sign up for the first level
All right.
of,
Does this excite you?
yeah. I get.
Oh, I'm convinced.
Yes, but it's next week, and I won't be able to be here, and I don't like anything to interfere with this because I love to be.
I don't like my life and the synchronicity in my life
Right.
to interfere with my life. Is that what you're saying?
That's what I said.
Well, do you want to take that back?
Yes, I take
All
it
right.
all back.
Do you understand the idea of trusting your own timing?
Yes.
Do you understand the idea of allowing yourself to follow your excitement at the same time you trust however it does unfold as being the way it needs to unfold in timing?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, I do.
All right.
I do.
Then can you relax and not try so hard to make things go the way you think they ought to when in fact they're already going the way they need to?
Yes.
In fact, you're already creating it to be the way it needs to be.
Okay.
And you're simply not allowing yourself to give yourself permission here and there a little bit now and then to place old definitions on the way things go, instead of allowing yourself to place new definitions on what is going on and how your life is unfolding, so that you can see that it is part and parcel of what you desire for your ecstasy, instead of still assuming that somehow it can be an interference or an interruption in your life. Does this make sense to you?
It makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Does that bring you, shall we say, back to that state more closely?
Yes, it does.
Does it help you then?
A lot.
And?
I have one more thing.
Yes.
I had a dream 2 nights ago,
Yes.
and at the end of it, I was, like I had my car, and then all of a sudden I was given this new vehicle,
Yes.
and it was this it was like a brand new navy blue Mercedes. And when I got into it,
Yes.
it was like this beautiful interior. And
You
I
have
said,
one, you
and
know.
it was given. Thank you. It had been given to me, and I looked and I said, but it has no tape recorder in it, no CD.
Yes.
I must have a CD.
Yes.
So I can't have this car. I have to have a CD. Is what went on there.
A conscious dream?
I don't know what you mean.
CD.
Oh! Jesus. Okay. And my mother was present, and my
Yes.
mother I have not dreamed about for many years.
All right.
Because she died when I was like 23.
All right.
She was helping me,
Yes.
sort of, to get me. What does this mean?
Oh, please.
Am I getting a new vehicle?
You are a
And
new vehicle.
I don't mean a car either.
You
I'm
are a new vehicle.
Right.
That's the point. You experienced the idea of a shift in energy, a shift in resonance, in frequency within yourself, and became a new vehicle because you finally knew you had a beautiful interior. The idea now also is to focus on the concept of the quote-unquote lack of the CD simply as an indication that there may yet be one small little item concerning communication that you need to work on within yourself. And that when you deal with that, you will have the vehicle that has the CD, and you will be consciously dreaming.
How can I? Okay. All right.
Follow your joy,
Okay.
and trust what comes, use what comes as information to teach you what you perhaps have not been seeing about yourself. Get in touch with it, explore it, play with it, expand it, use your imagination. That's the fuel that makes the car go.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Does this help you then?
Yes.
Why, thank you.
Thank you. Who's next?
You, and then you. Number 2, do you know who you are? Number 1. Yes, good day.
I feel really good, and I just wanted to say.
Oh, all right.
I wanted to start out with that because I still really feel good when I come here. I just wanted to say that.
You so rarely feel good when you come to these transmissions? Is that what you are saying?
Often that seems to be the case.
Oh, all right.
Yeah. But,
Is it something we said?
Well, whatever seems to be out of balance in me seems somewhat accentuated when I'm here. Let's put it that way.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I wonder why that might be.
I can't imagine.
Oh, all right.
I also wanted to talk to you. My real challenge in life continues to be my son.
No. Your challenge in life continues to be you.
Me.
Your son just reflects that to you.
Absolutely, me. And I've had this amazing reflection lately where I was going through this tremendously difficult time, and
Yeah,
Jonathan reflected that perfectly.
Of
He
course.
lost tremendous ground. I went through a shift, and things started, just getting in touch with that core vibration. It's so
Yes.
simple, like you talk about all the time, and
Oh, that,
he's
yes.
like a different child. It
Well,
happens,
what do you know?
It happens on a dime, though.
Now,
It's
one
so
moment,
fascinating. Yes,
back up.
yes.
He is
Okay.
not like a different child. He is a different child. For every reality change you make, you actually change your reality. And those that inhabit it are the people that are indigenous to that reality. They are not the people who inhabited the reality of a moment ago, and neither are you. When will you take this literally? It is not the child that was there before, because you are not the mother that was there in that reality. Or, more precisely, not the mother that still is in that other reality with that other child, who is not your child, as this is this reality. You are this person who automatically, by being this person, has this child. They are different people. You understand? Literally, different people in different vibrational, universal, reality, dimensional domains. Literally, 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 I mean it. It's not just an ambiguous, symbolic terminology. You are this person. That person is in another reality. She is not you. You are not her. Not. Do you understand? You are the same consciousness. You are the same soul in the oversoul sense. You are not the same person. Person is just a construct that is created in space-time, physical reality. The soul has many people. The consciousness expresses many different personality, persona, constructs, literally different from one another, literally not the same person. Literally. Now, I don't know how more clearly to say this. Now, I am not admonishing you, but I am simply attempting to help you really understand I mean it literally. And it's not just a euphemism. It's not just a symbol. It's not just an analogy. It's not just an illustration. There are an infinite number of Earths, parallel Earths, populated by the versions of you that belong in that vibration simultaneously with this one. It's simply a matter of who do you prefer to be. And that's where the focus of the consciousness seems to be, even though it is simultaneously everywhere. Does this make any sense to you at all?
Yes, it does. I think I'm beginning to...
All right. Keep it
Touch at
simple.
it.
It doesn't have to be complicated.
I mean,
Just
it's so
keep it
self-evident
simple.
when you talk about it.
Yes.
You change your person every moment.
Yes,
and
every
you
thought,
change
you
your-
are a completely different person. I understand that your language makes it confusing when these thoughts translate in the way that that sentence just translated in your language. You are a different person because you think you is a person going through certain changes and that you remain the same person just going through different changes. But in fact, you are a different person from whoever she is. So yes.
So it's not that, I mean, clearly you've made this very clear, but I just need to
thank
say
you.
it anyway, that that the changes in your relationships and the changes
Yes.
in your reality are not
Yes.
just you're reflecting a different aspect of them. They are equally as different. It's so
Absolutely.
obvious. It's so self-evident.
Absolutely. Totally, completely, utterly. Yes. Pristinely. That's why you know you can redefine yourself at any given moment. Because there is no history. You have no history. You are created in this moment. The only history you appear to have is the history you create in this moment. You create the apparent continuity, illusion of being the same person going back into the past. That illusion, that effect is created now.
Right.
You don't come from then. You come from here, now, and create what you think you are supposed to connect to with regard to the so-called past self, the so-called future self. All of that definition occurs here and now. And you are, as being made in the image of the infinite Creator, such an instantaneous Creator that you've been able to forget, to overlook, because the creation happens so rapidly, you've been able to overlook the fact that you're creating it from here. The illusion makes it seem as if it's coming from somewhere else because the mechanism of creation happens instantaneously. All that definition, every iota of that definition, of you having a so-called past as a person, is created right here every moment. Bang, 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 bang. Millions, 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 I will venture to say billions, of times a second. You understand? Yeah. Just to put it into a temporal framework. Billions and billions of times a second, you literally redefine, re-identify what you are as a personality, and you have the corresponding reflected reality, because physical reality is nothing but a reflection. It has to vibrate and flicker and switch on and off exactly at the same rate that you do. Mm-hmm. So when you get a handle on what it means to be here, now, and you finally choose to define yourself consciously as you prefer to, your reality cannot do anything but reflect who you say you are here now. That's all it's ever done. It's all it ever can do. Make sense?
It's really quite exciting.
Yes. And quite, shall we say, freeing.
Yes.
So then, knowing this, you can choose to feel as good as you ever can feel every moment. And you can also choose not to. But know that whatever it is you feel, it's because you're choosing to. And that's okay. And work with that. And find out why. And learn from that. And be the creator you are. That's all you need to do. So if at any given moment you choose to feel, shall we say, sad, angry, whatever it is, work with that, acknowledge it, own it, all right, I'm choosing this, that's all right, it's valid, it's a creation, I own it, I love it, it's mine. Now, is this what I prefer? Yes, no. If not, why did I choose it? What definition do I have that would motivate me to choose that definition of myself instead of another one I say empirically I prefer? That's how you use your reality to educate yourself as to who it is you prefer to be. Because one of the strongest techniques the people on your planet use is to learn who it is they are by experiencing many different opportunities to find out who you are not. Right. That can work for you. You'll get there however you need to. So if you have been deprived of some set of tools, you'll find a set of tools that does work. But I am simply telling you that you now know you have the set of tools, you now know you have the set of tools wherein you can consciously determine what the definition of your personality will be at any given moment, and that's all there is to it. And you can choose that at every moment. But if you don't, well, that's all right. Is this helping?
Hugely. Yes.
Hugely?
Hugely. Yes, it is. Thank you.
You are welcome.
In light of that discussion...
In that light.
In that light, yeah. In my reality this moment, there are two very specific questions I have about his treatment.
Oh, all right.
I'm finding he's very much better. He's beginning to make sounds and the beginnings of words. And the difficulty that I notice him having is that he doesn't seem to, his auditory processing doesn't seem correct.
Yes.
He will hear a sound and try very hard to mimic it, and he can't do it. And I'm wondering if there's something I can do to help that.
Number one, you can learn to listen differently and hear what is being said before you insist on what you think he's supposed to say. That will help you understand how to communicate more clearly to what is being said.
Right.
And help guide him.
Right.
Number two, have you yet followed the suggestion to allow him to interact with dolphins?
No, I don't remember that suggestion.
All right, we'll remember it now. For they are very skilled at communication telepathically, especially with individuals on your planet that are exhibiting what you typically call circumstances and conditions of autism.
Right, I've read that.
Yes, well then, if you read that, why didn't you rush right out and see if that would work for you? Where was your excitement then? Perhaps it is you that needs to learn how to hear.
Yes. Okay, thank you for that.
No offense.
That's all right. That's all right.
Yes.
One and the other specific question is that the physician that we're seeing wants to put him on Prozac. I have
Unnecessary.
Really,
But I cannot help you with this because of the structure of your society. But we perceive that this does not necessarily help the individual at this time.
Okay.
But that will have to be up to
sufficient.
you.
I understand that. That's sufficient. Thank you.
Thank you. Number 2. Good day. Oh, all right. Waiting for your electric stick.
Hi, how are
To you, good day. Perfect. And you?
I'm great. I feel really good tonight.
Oh, all right.
I feel good. I want to talk to you about an experience that I had.
You go right ahead.
My husband and I are trying to have a baby.
You're trying.
Well,
Why don't you just have one?
Well, yes, we want to have a baby.
Oh, I see.
We're not trying. We are.
Yes,
We are.
all right. Thank you for your
I
honesty.
guess we are.
Yes, you
Anyways,
are.
last month we calculated the most opportune time in which, could possibly happen.
And?
And
Are you having fun playing this game?
yeah, we're having a great time.
Oh, all right.
This was our 4th cycle.
Oh, all right.
Anyways,
As long as you're having fun.
we're having a great time. My husband Jeff that night experienced something. He felt an energy go through his back.
A communication, yes.
Went through his back, went into his back,
Yes.
through his chest, and
Yes.
into my body.
Yes.
The next day, I felt a baby around me.
Yes.
And then it kind of left me.
No, not really, but we
is.
understand that it may have, to some degree, pulled back the energy framework.
Right. Well, anyways, a couple of weeks later, I had a miscarriage.
All right.
The egg, I guess.
That
what
is all right.
happened
Trust the timing.
Right.
Trust the timing. Sometimes spirits need to, shall we say, stick their ethereal toes in the water before they jump in.
This is an overly anxious little one. Anyways,
No, you are.
I am?
Yes.
Oh, is that it?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was just...
You are not allowing the waters to be still enough.
Well, I don't understand. I mean,
Relax.
okay, all right, that brings me to my next question.
Yes, I know.
So is there anything wrong with my body or... do
Yes,
I
it's
have-
too tense.
So that's why it was rejected?
And also, it simply isn't the appropriate timing. You are too focused on the idea of being worried that you're going to miss the right time. You know, tick, 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 tock, tock,
Yes.
tock, tock, tick, 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 tock, 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 tock. Break
Yeah.
the clock.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Break the clock in your head. Break it. Now. Shatter it. See it in your imagination. Springs flying everywhere.
Okay, well...
Springs flying everywhere.
Uh-huh.
You're not getting it.
No, I get it, but...
Oh, yes? What do you get? What do you get? What did I just say to you?
Springs flying everywhere.
Yes.
Broken
The first
clock.
word being?
Spring.
Being?
Spring.
Yes.
Like time of
Yes.
the year. Oh, I get it. Okay.
Relax.
Okay. All right.
Relax,
I will.
relax, relax. You cannot miss such a contract.
Okay.
Except when you spend time worrying, you might miss it.
Okay.
That's the paradox.
All right.
Give up trying, relax, enjoy yourself, be still, be calm, be bountiful.
Mm-hmm.
Be the person with whom the Spirit has made the agreement to be born to.
Okay.
You are not yet that person because you're too agitated in trying to become that person. That's the paradox.
Well, is there anything wrong with me?
I just told you no.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Okay.
I'm talking about that. I'm talking about taking herbs right now.
What
drinking-
kind of herb?
Well, I'm on red raspberry tea. I've been taking false unicorn.
Yes.
And
all of these are for the purpose of?
Not of conceiving, of just making my body strong and healthy. And
It is all right to make your body strong and healthy.
So it's okay to take these herbs?
Yes.
Can they harm me in any way? Can false unicorn farm?
I would suggest you don't take too much.
Okay.
What else are you taking?
I'm drinking 2 cups of red raspberry tea every day, and I'm on Chinese herbs. And so
Go down to 1.
1 cup of
Yes.
red raspberry. And what
Yes.
about the Chinese herbs I'm on?
What type?
I don't know. I went to an herbalist.
You don't know.
Well, there's a bunch of different herbs. The herbalist gave me a formula
Yes.
that he's used on women before that have had success after.
Success for what?
Well, having
Success
healthy bodies.
for what?
Having healthy bodies.
Success for...
Getting pregnant.
Thank you.
So you don't think it's necessary, are you saying, for me to take these herbs?
Not really.
And what about Jeff? Should he be taking them for his sperm count?
Well, let's count. Take what you want for the purpose only of allowing yourself to feel that what you are doing is reflective of your state of health and well-being. You don't need to take anything else for any other reason. Do you understand?
Yes.
So with that information in mind, I'll leave it up to you as to what to continue to take and what you don't need to continue.
Right.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you finally for your honesty.
You're welcome. Is there any way that you can give me a message from the soul?
Oh, you haven't gotten enough of those yourself?
No.
What do you think I just did when I said
Well, I know.
springs fly everywhere?
That was a good one.
Well,
Thank you.
that
Thank
was
you.
from that spirit.
It was?
Yes.
Was it a male spirit or a female spirit?
The energy would seem to be what you would call male, but I remind you that spirits are neither male nor female specifically, and yet both. It is not a physiological thing, you understand? In your physical reality, it might decide to be male and or female. Seems most likely at this time. It might express itself in a male body, but the spirit is not male or female, because it is not physical.
Well, can you tell me about the connection that I have with this spirit?
One moment. We will check in and see what is allowed.
Thank you.
Of course, in general, you can begin to understand that typically incarnation will take place along similar family lines over long periods of time. You follow?
Yes.
So in a sense, you have been within each other's family lines before incarnationally. You understand this?
Yes.
All right. One moment. One moment. This being has been your father a few times. One moment. One moment. This might be one of the reasons why it may choose to represent itself as male again this time, to remind you of the idea of father energy. That may help you get in touch with some things that you need to balance within yourselves. You follow?
Yeah. Well, my father passed away 6 years ago.
Yes.
And my whole life has been about resolving some of the issues.
Then this may be why the spirit will be born as a male.
Do you think it's
to
my
help
father,
you work
though?
out those resolutions.
Could it be my father, though?
It is connected, but it will not be the same.
It's not the same.
It is never exactly the same.
But it's
Understand
connected?
that everything exists simultaneously.
Uh-huh.
So when you say your father is in spirit, your father in that sense, as the persona you knew as your father, will always now be in spirit.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
But it is connected to the same oversoul, and so in that sense, yes, exhibits the same, or shall we say, a quote-unquote continuation of the energy to help you balance a resolution within yourself. Yes.
That's interesting.
Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
All right. One moment. Do you, now, before we say this,
Prepare yourself.
will you please, I am asking you a favor. Are you willing to grant us a favor?
Sure.
Are you positive?
Yes.
Thank you. Will you please decide this for yourselves instead of just automatically taking what we are about to say as what you must do?
Yes.
Do you understand?
I
This
understand.
is important.
Okay.
If you wind up deciding that this will be so, that's all well and good, but make sure it's your decision and not just because Bashar said so.
Okay.
You follow?
I follow.
Thank you. Promise.
I promise.
Thank you. You might want to think about the name Danny or Danielle.
Uh-huh.
Either one.
Okay.
Think about that. Play with that when you reach out to the spirit.
Okay.
and see if that makes sense to you as an energy. It's up to you to decide whether or not to literally name your child such.
Right.
But Daniel or Danielle will help in forming the bridge and the connection.
Okay.
Now, at this time in your life, in what way does that name have some meaning to you, if any at all?
Well, my husband's son from a previous relationship, his name's Danny.
All right.
Daniel.
Then there is a strong connection also between that child and this one. And that is the reason why that energy is being given. Since you already have a child named Daniel in your midst, that, to see that connection and use that name will help you feel, shall we say, the reality of this child, because you already have a child in that sense in your midst. And by using that name, it will help you see the existence of this child in present time instead of in the future, in the future, in the future, and worrying about that. You follow?
Yes.
So you can use the vibration of Daniel to anchor you into the present and feel this child as though the child is already here, so you won't have to keep trying.
Okay.
You understand?
Yes.
Because the child is here, you have the agreement you have, trust the timing, relax,
Okay.
and spring ahead.
Thank you very much, Bashar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And don't forget to thank.
Danny.
All right.
Thank you.
Yes. You may be next.
Are you speaking to me, I hope?
Why do you hope?
Okay, I accept that you are
Thank
speaking
you.
to me. Good evening.
And to you, good day.
Thank you. I'm very pleased to be with you again, and I'd like to ask about a feeling that I had in my wrist.
A feeling in your wrist.
Yeah, kind of a strange feeling. I had the idea that it was some sort of energy that was not flowing properly.
Oh, all right.
Can you
And
please-
what did you do about that when you gave yourself that idea?
Well, I decided to send energy to the earth and to people that I know might be able to use energy and people
All right.
I love.
And did anything occur or change from having
yeah,
done that?
it didn't hurt anymore.
Oh, all right. Well, congratulations.
Okay, so apparently that's a good thing to do.
Apparently so.
Okay.
Simple, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, my, oh, my.
Kind
You don't
of-
want it to be more complex, do you?
No way.
Oh, all
No
right.
way.
Thank you.
I want to thank you particularly for your discussion about being in the moment, who we prefer to be. It was so perfect and
Well,
so
I only
clear.
reflect the timing of what you all co-create with us.
Oh, I love that. I
So
really
remember
love it.
that this is what you're saying to yourselves now.
I love that too.
Yes.
I want to ask about a book I'm reading called the Hathor Material.
Hathor, yes.
Hathor, yes, thank you. And there's a place in the book where the idea is given to use the sounds L, Kalim, Ka, Om. And it's mentioned that this should be done in four, repeating
Yeah,
4 times.
Understood.
And that this can have marvelous effects. And
You're not going to ask us if it will, are you?
No.
Oh,
What I'm
all right.
going to ask you
Just
is
making
you
sure.
will please share with me maybe a proper intonation so that I can do it in a very effective way, because I understand this is stating the sacredness of all, and that's what I would like to do.
So you are looking to home in on what you consider to be a more appropriate frequency or
Yes.
resonance
Yes,
expression.
exactly.
Repeat the phrasing.
El, Ka, Lim, Om. And I'm understanding this is to be done in a chanting method.
El Kalimum. El Kalimum.
El Kalimom.
El Kalimum.
El Kalimom.
Yes. El Kalimum.
Emphasizing the last part. El Kalimom. Am I
Yes.
doing it okay? El Kalimom.
El Kalimum.
El Kalimom.
If you wish the dialect of the area, yes.
Well, I don't care about the dialect. I wanted the resonance. Is it
What's
the
the
same
difference?
thing? I don't know. I just wanted to do
That's
it.
what dialects are all about.
Okay.
Resonance.
El Kalimom.
El Kalimum.
El Kalimom.
Yes.
Okay.
Does that help you then?
I'm certain it will, and I'll play with that. Thank
all
you very
right.
much.
Thank you. You. Then you. Number 2, do you know who you are? All right. Number 1, good day.
Good evening, Bashar. On Sunday night,
Yes.
I woke up, well, it was in the morning,
I woke
On
up...
Sunday night, you woke up in the morning.
No.
You see how reality is shifting on your planet?
Sunday night going into Monday morning
Yes, we
about
understand.
3 a.m.
We're just playing with you.
Okay. I woke up with a very sharp pain in my chest.
Yes, all right. And?
I immediately knew that I wasn't having a heart attack.
All right. What did you know? What else did you know?
I just knew something was happening, but what was happening?
You had no clue?
No.
Not even for an instant? Not even something running through your mind that, is this, could it be, might it be? Nothing like that at all?
No, the only thing that ran through my mind is
Yes.
that you had told me previously that my heart was fine.
Yes. All right. And so?
So all day Monday,
Yes.
up to today,
Yes.
I have a sort of like a achy feeling around the muscles of my heart.
Yes.
Could you elaborate on that? Am I having a heart attack?
No. You may, to some degree, be having an expression of what might be called the idea of minor angina and or of what might be called the idea of minor angina and or nervous tension in the area,
Okay.
anxiety, based on the idea of the need to face something, to release something, to be something you are not yet being, to go in a direction you need to go, to expand a little bit more smoothly within yourself. You may be experiencing the vestiges of old ideas, old constrictions in that area. One moment. What is your present form of diet, of food intake? Can you describe your present form of food intake generally?
Mexican. I don't have a diet.
I do not mean diet in the sense that you classically mean it. I simply mean, what do you generally eat? What is your typical food consumption like? What types of food do you typically eat?
Chinese, Mexican, anything. I don't have a preference, really.
One moment. We would suggest that you may avail yourself of some form of energy work given in the back of the neck to realign magnetic energies within you, given in the back of the neck. This may be acupuncture, acupressure, energy handwork, a variety of different magnetic resonances and the like, but given in the back of the neck to realign some of the imbalance may be taking place within the heart realm, domain, area. We would suggest that you trust your synchronicity to attract to yourself an individual who can assist you in this way. We would also suggest that you may need some slight literal chiropractic adjustment to realign some of the neurological areas along your spine and in the neck as well.
Okay.
Have this checked
Okay.
and see if that makes a difference for you.
Okay.
All right?
I thank you.
Does that help you?
Yes, it does.
All right.
Thank you.
And the next.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
Just wanted to discuss some interesting...
One moment. How much water do you consume on a daily basis? More, much more. 1 to 2 quarts. 1 to 2 quarts. Start tomorrow. Do you understand? Through the day, 1 to 2 quarts. You are becoming dehydrated. In that sense, you will find that some of your symptomologies will disappear. It is not too late. Also, you may be in need of potassium. Potassium. Do you understand? Potassium. Get it in the most natural form you can. You follow? Yes. Thank you. Proceed.
Yes. I had, particularly last week, off and on for about 3-4 days, I had this...
Bananas. So that was not to you.
I know. Okay. I had where this pyramid is, the symbol on my back that you said ties in with some new hybrid race. Right next to it, sort of like right next to it, or right like on top of it, very close by, there was this searing heat that reminded me of like a branding, like if you're going to brand cattle or something.
Oh, all right.
And very, very strong. And then there would be like the cold right after it.
Yes,
and
this is the opening of the conduit to allow you to experience the polarities of the energy that are now flowing through that new conduit that can be balanced or need to be balanced within you. In experiencing the polarities, it gives you an opportunity to see the gamut or the range of the way the energy can be experienced, hot and cold, light and dark, and allow yourself in taking that to balance that within you, which will help you in the work and the endeavors that you are undertaking.
Oh, okay. Being that it's right next to that symbol.
Yes, it will put you in touch with understanding that you need to get in touch with the energy resonances that are representative of that domain, of that level, of what you symbolically associate the symbol with, knowing that it will help you become more of yourself, more of the self that identifies that and exists in that energy or reality domain.
Okay.
And that will help you understand the work that you are doing with the crystals.
Okay. I have that symbol on my forehead, but it's inverted.
All right.
It's an inverted pyramid.
Yes.
That one feels different, though.
There are many different kinds of energy gates on all of your bodies. Some of them will be more obvious than others, but you can utilize them for a variety of purposes, depending upon what specific endeavor you have aligned yourself with.
Okay. Then I also notice there's energy in my nose, on my nose and around my nose.
Yes.
And
you're opening up your magnetite sensory apparatus in what you would call your sinus cavities, because that is the sensory apparatus of magnetic and electromagnetic orientation. In a sense, you are giving yourself more opportunity to align in the direction necessary to sense the flow of energy.
Oh, and the breathing too.
And the breathing as well, yes.
Yeah. I have experienced in the last few days a real shift because I've lost 32 pounds.
All right.
In the last 34 days.
Yes, we understand what you are doing with regard to the idea of oxygenation of the system and also the hydration of your system in the ingestion of the water. Now, we will also tell you this. Do not be stern about this, for you may be approaching another shift. And the idea may be that from time to time, your body consciousness may tell you that it is all right to ingest a little bit of this kind or that kind of food. Do not fight it if it tells you that.
Ah.
Do you understand?
Yes.
Do not fight it if it tells you that.
Okay.
You need to adjust yourself into the idea of what you are sustaining yourself on energetically in the way that is appropriate for your physiological reality. Do not think or force yourself to be more spiritual than your natural body consciousness tells you you need to be.
Yeah. Okay.
You follow?
Yeah. I've also started exercising, and so I'm getting a lot of the breath and everything and the toning.
All right. One moment. Email that we discussed the idea of childbirth with regard to Daniel. Yes. You are not ingesting celery, are you? No. Make sure that you don't. Okay. It is, in your terms, what you would call an abortive. You follow? Yes. Just in case it is coming up that it will be offered to you as a suggestion or a thought, avoid it. Thank you. Continue.
Okay, so I've been doing the exercising and everything too for the to tone the body and the awareness of that. Okay, and I feel absolutely phenomenal.
You are all phenomenal.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What I have noticed is that there are, before when I was eating all the food and everything that I was doing, there might be some aches and pains in the body.
Yes.
And I've noticed that they're no longer there.
Yes.
Because of the clearing and everything.
You are aligning and detoxifying and flushing your system quite readily. This is all well and good, but again, pay attention to what your body consciousness may tell you. Right. You may go back into a little bit, not much, little bit of ingestion of solid substance, but you will find that this will also balance out, and it will most likely be substances that are high in water content anyway, such as fresh raw vegetables of certain varieties. But therein also lie certain mineralogical contents that will aid and assist you in going further with regard to the maintenance of your system on mostly air and water.
Yes, and I have a tendency to go more towards fruit if I were going to eat.
Some of this will be necessary, but you will find that that tendency, so to speak, will also render itself in a balanced form to include more of the water vegetables.
Oh, okay. And you want specific ones?
You will know.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Thank you. You, then the male. The male, number 2, do you know who you are? All right. Number 1, good day.
Good day. Happy Valentine's Day.
And to you as well.
Thank you. I'm here with my friend Elizabeth.
Oh, all right.
First time here. And in the past, I've had a feeling that, and I do now, that we've been abducted together at times.
Yes.
Is this true?
Yes.
Since childhood?
Yes. This often starts in childhood on your planet. Yes.
Yeah, because I had an instant recognition of her when
Yes, you have known each other for a long time.
And we've had past lives together also.
Yes, of course. This is quite common with anyone that you are emotionally close to in your present life, of course.
Are we counterparts?
Not in the way that you typically mean that. In a sense, you have been resonantly identified with each other. Your frequencies have been matched along certain levels. You are not counterparts in the typical sense, meaning that you are offshoots of the same oversoul, but you do have strong resonance counterpart identification. But it is a different thing.
Yeah, 'cause that's what I experience every time I'm with her.
Yes. But this is, to some degree, part of the agenda and the agreement with regard to the interactions with the extraterrestrial species that you are referring to as abductions.
So the same faction...
In other words, you are all keyed together.
Yeah, okay.
You're all tuned to very specific and similar frequencies of recognition for each other and identification with each other.
And that's something that many of us that are maybe here share that?
Yes.
Yeah, I've always felt that. Is it because the same faction of the Greys are interacting with us?
Yes. There are, from time to time, shall we say, other participants. But in general, yes, you are in the relatively similar, shall we say, agenda stream.
Who are some of the other participants?
Not at this time.
Okay, and so, because that's a future Grey faction, right?
No comment.
Okay. What else do you want to know?
Yeah. Okay, what are these abductions like? This is all very new to me.
No, it is not. You are only just beginning to remember, however. In fact, it is very familiar to you. Sometimes they may seem to be relatively unpleasant, but only because you are not certain what is going on. But the idea is that, for the most part, on average, you will find that you will somehow, either physically or etherically, astrally be transported into another domain that is inhabited by another species that you typically call extraterrestrials, but that is a limiting name. The idea is that there will be vibrational adjustments made within you. There will also be genetic material from time to time that shall be extrapolated from you for the creation of a hybrid race, and that in that sense, on that level, in that reality, you actually have children that are the product of your genetic material. From time to time, you will be made to interact with them so that you can impart to them some of the emotional and mental qualities of humanity that they need to balance their understanding of who and what they are. This is typical of the agenda going on between your human species and the typical Grey species that you refer to. Do you understand this?
Mm-hmm. So is this transference of genetic material already going on?
Yes, it has been for quite some time. You have children.
Do our children know each other?
Yes.
I knew that.
No, where are these children?
Mostly on what you would call spacecraft. Mostly on what you would call other vibrational dimensional realities. From time to time you meet with them, though you are made to forget. But you can remember if you wish to. It is up to you. From time to time this may be traumatic for you. in that there will be a strong emotional bond, and you may feel that you are being deprived of interaction with them as much as you would like. But I will guarantee that eventually you will meet them, and you will be in their lives, and they in yours, on a consistent basis in your near future. This goes for all of you having these experiences.
I had a dream a few weeks ago about an abduction.
Yes.
And I was with a group of people, and I kept saying, oh, I remembered the abduction, but I said, oh, no, I wasn't there. You were all there, but I wasn't there. And then one of the people in the group said, well, I'll test you. And he put his hand on my head, and this bolt of electricity and energy went through me. And
yes.
I said, I guess I was there.
Yes.
Was this a real experience?
Yes. But many of these, because you are, in a sense, made to forget, only are remembered as dreamlike experiences. Mm-hmm. Also, because the other dimensional vibration is similar to what your people experience only in their dreams, many times your physiological consciousness cannot make sense out of it except to interpret what happened in that reality as if it were a dream.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes.
Now, before you continue, we have some questions for you, if we may.
Please.
Thank you. Do you specifically remember in any of your dreams being immersed under fluid, liquid, and being able to breathe therein?
Oh, that was one of my questions. Yes, all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
This is typical of the idea of the methodology used by these beings to transfer your physical vibration into their dimension of reality, to buffer you so that the transition does not harm your body.
Oh.
You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I just had a dream of whales coming right. I was in a different home, but it was our home, and right outside the window was a lagoon, and there were about 8 or 10 huge gray whales.
But this is because you also have a Sirius connection. That is the star system of Sirius, which contains a non-physical collective consciousness that is telepathically in communication with what you call the cetacean life forms on your planet, the dolphins and the whales. Thus, you are peripherally, in these experiences, also experiencing your connections to these other civilizations and other star systems, especially the idea of the Sirius star system, as a reminder of what the core energy of your being is all about.
Okay.
You understand this?
I think so.
All right.
I think so.
All right. Anything else?
Yeah. Where we live, in Santa Barbara, there are a lot of dolphins.
That is why you chose it.
What kind of interaction can I have with them?
What kind do you want? You can have physical, you can have telepathic, you can have an emotional, you can have mental, you can have anything you wish. It's up to you. You understand?
I do.
Trust your instincts. Especially trust your childlike, playful qualities, for that is what will allow you to trust the timing and be in the right place at the right time for them to know that they need to interact with you.
Okay.
They will come to you.
Okay.
You follow?
Yes.
Does this help you? Anything else?
Oh, maybe later.
Oh, all right.
Thank you.
Then I will suggest to you pleasant dreams.
Oh, thank you.
For understand, all of this will be understood in short order. At the outside, you will find that in approximately 17 to 20 of your years, all of this will be known, and many of the hybrid children will already be among you. That is as we read the collective energy now. Thank you.
Thank you. Can I ask for one more thing?
Yes.
We have a new cat in our family.
Yes.
And she's having a really hard time adjusting and hiding for
Yes.
days on end.
Yes.
I was wondering if you could give us some suggestions maybe to help her with this transition and help her feel more comfortable.
One moment. Color of the cat?
Gray, silver gray.
What a surprise.
Oh, yeah. She was a blood donor.
All right. Understand that it is, this animal, a direct reflection in many ways of what's going on with you. As you gain more conscious insight, more clarity, more peace with the interactions you yourself are having, and begin to understand how to relate to living multidimensionally, that you do in fact exist, as all of you do, on different levels of reality, and that the so-called gray beings that you are interacting with are in fact in another reality simply other versions of you. Following? As you gain more understanding and familiarity and comfort with this, the cat will reflect this to you.
Great.
Also, the cat's consciousness is also being utilized as a communication link between the Greys and yourself.
Mm-hmm.
You can talk to the Greys through the cat if you want to.
Okay.
You understand this?
Yeah.
So being centered, being meditative, being peaceful, being loving will allow the cat to also find ease with what is happening to it as well. And you can learn to communicate through the animal to the Greys, and they will respond.
Great.
You understand?
Yeah.
All right. What is your animal's name?
Jasmine. And we call her Jazzy Moon sometimes.
Jazzy Moon. All right. One moment. Do you find that particular fragrance is something that you are fond of?
Yes.
All right. Then it will help you in your meditations and in making a connection to the animal. All right?
Okay,
What you would
thank
call
you.
aromatherapeutic jasmine, in that sense, utilized to allow your brain waves to find the proper frequency that you need to be in for clear communication and relaxation of your being, so as to be reflected also by the animal, and so that clear communication can occur. Mm-hmm. Aromatherapeutically, this directly affects your brain waves. You understand?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Does this help you then?
Very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The male, number 2. Good day.
Good day, good day, Bashar. I have a question about, I've been reading about the fourth dimension, and I'm really interested in expanding consciousness into going further
all right.
and opening and bringing in more light.
Yes.
And I was wondering what your suggestions were.
Well, always, of course, to follow your highest excitement, since that vibration is indicative of highest light and allowing you to function more, shall we say, multidimensionally, be it 4, 5, 6, or what have you. You follow? So that is the primary key. Being yourself, because yourself is already existing on all those levels. So being more of yourself will allow you to experience the self that already exists on that level. You understand?
Yeah.
So following your joy, absolutely. Using your imagination, because imagination literally is its own dimensional reality. And understanding this, and having an actual physical sensation of the following idea can also help you greatly. Are you paying attention?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm a little nervous.
All right. Why are you nervous?
I've never talked to, one time I've talked to channel your charisma, so
Do you understand that all I'm doing is reflecting your own energy back to you? Mm-hmm. So all you're feeling is yourself.
Yeah.
So perhaps instead of nervous, you are feeling excitement.
Yeah, I'm really excited, yeah.
All right. Then give it a positive
My
spin,
face is really,
and you'll get the positive effect from it. Give it a negative spin, and you can only get the negative effect. And it will make it more difficult for you to hear what we are about to suggest.
Okay.
So, it is all right for you to feel whatever it is you're feeling, but allow yourself to know that it doesn't have to stop you from absorbing what you need to absorb or knowing what you already know.
Okay.
So, here's a sensation that can help you. Allow yourself to roll this around in your mind, and roll it around until you actually have the physical sensation of this being real. And that is expansion, so to speak, to another dimensional level comes automatically with the full realization that you actually are. You actually are the dimension of reality that you previously thought you existed in. You want that again?
Yeah.
In other words, you have been taught to think you live in three-dimensional physical reality.
Yeah.
You don't. It's in you. You're not in it. It's in you. Physical reality is in you. You are it. It is made of you. It's made of your consciousness. It's like a mirror, in that what you see is actually reflections of many different aspects of your idea of yourself, expressed in three-dimensional space-time, time-space, physical reality terminology that you call physical objects, space, volume, so to speak. Mm-hmm. But everything you perceive in your physical reality is actually a reflection of you. Physical reality is you. And you're literally looking into a mirror and getting a reflection back of your idea of yourself expressed in this terminology. When you fully feel that to be true, you will instantly experience yourself in fourth density, fourth dimensional reality, because you will know that you actually are the dimension itself that you used to think you only lived in. Does this make any sense to you?
Yeah. It's actually, I read it just today in a book. And
what is synchronicity? Synchronicity is also a key thing to watch for in terms of knowing that you are experiencing the oneness of all things, because synchronicity is physical reality's way of showing you that everything is the same one thing, by showing you a rapid succession of things that coincidentally all seem to be interrelated and connected, because in succession is one of the only ways that physical reality can show it to you because of linear space-time constructs. But synchronicity is physical reality's way of showing you that everything is all one thing. And when you know that, you will be living on higher dimensional reality consciousness. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Does this help you?
It very much helps me. I have another question. Is that okay? I'm also just started channel writing, I guess you call it, or spirit writing.
In a sense, what you call automatic writing?
Automatic writing, yeah. And I was wondering, am I channeling my spirit guide, or am I channeling just anybody that comes in, or...
Does it make a difference to you?
Not at this time, no, not really.
Do you believe that you are doing this because you are aligned with the idea of positive energy? And that you're doing this out of joy, out of service, out of all sorts of positive ideas?
Yeah, definitely.
Then allow yourself right now not to differentiate. Because you don't have to worry that it's anything but positive if that's the reason you're doing it. You follow?
Yeah, I do follow.
So, it might be your guides, it might be yourself, it might be any number of different levels of consciousness both within you and, so to speak, without you. But the idea right now is that as you are, quote-unquote, practicing this, do not take the time to pin it down and differentiate so much. Look to the idea of the information and how it resonates within you more than who exactly is it coming from, for now.
Okay.
If you need any more specificity than this, it will come as well with the information. But for now, you just need to loosen up, lighten up, and play with it rather than trying to put it in a box.
I see what you're saying.
You follow?
Yeah, I do.
Right now, let it be what you call flow of consciousness, spontaneous playtime, truly an expression of the realm of the imagination, and it doesn't matter right now whether it makes any sense at all. Don't insist that it must, please.
Mm-hmm.
And it is exercising and stretching the domain and dimension of what you call imagination, which is real in its own context. You follow?
Mm-hmm.
But for now, just get used to the idea of doing it at all. Then more specificity, if necessary, will come. Guaranteed. All you have to know is that you're doing it because it is who you are. And that will automatically allow it to benefit you and all who come in contact with what you deem will be your method of sharing or artistic creative expression. Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
It's that simple. Are you willing to let it be that simple?
Yeah, definitely.
Right? I leave you also with one more thing that we have shared with many individuals. And that is simply the understanding that there are only 4 laws in existence. This may also be of help to you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Number 1, you exist. That's the law. You will never change that. You will always exist. You always have. You understand?
Yeah.
Number 2, the one is all, the all is one. All the individual components together are the one. The one is made up of all the individual components, and each component is the totality expressing itself as an individual component of the totality.
Mm-hmm.
The one is all, the all is one, holographically. That's law number 2.
Okay.
Law number 3, what you put out is what you get back. Plain and simple. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Law number 4, change is the only constant.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I understand.
So, those are the 4 unchanging absolutes. Even though obviously the 4th one contains paradox, which is always your strongest point of power. Paradox. When you're in the midst of dichotomy and paradox, that's when you know you are really being you. That's when you know you're at the center of all things. For all things come from the center, even those things that may appear in one reality to be polarized opposites, paradox, that's what lets you know you're at the center. Use the power of paradox to your advantage. It will move mountains, literally. Does this help you?
Yeah.
Every reality experience of any kind, anywhere, is based on those 4 laws and nothing else. So it's all up to you as to what you deem your reality experience will be. Understand?
Yeah, it kind of relates to my next question, which is about highest purpose.
Highest
path
purpose is to be yourself as best as you can.
Okay.
That's it. That's it. Oh, nothing more important than that? There is nothing more important than that. For a variety of reasons. That's the only goal, it's your only purpose, it's your only mission, is to be yourself as best as you can, because even though you may be an incarnational being, you have never been this you before, you will never be this you again. This is the only life this you has. It's the only time you will ever be this expression of the infinite. Therefore, obviously, there is validity in being this you. The infinite wants to experience itself as this you, in this day, and this age, this time, this place. Therefore, being the best you that you can be right here, right now, is the only goal you have. The way you do that is to follow your highest energy, your highest joy, highest love, highest creativity. That's what allows you to be the best you can be and live the life you are living to the fullest you possibly can. Anything else you may choose to do to express that, whatever service, career, project, benefit, help, whatever it is you want to be or do to anyone else, those are simply expressions of the goal of being yourself. They are not goals unto themselves. You understand the difference?
Yeah, I do.
You have only one goal, being yourself. That's all you have to do. That's all you all have to do. Takes a load off, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's all you have to do, is be yourself. When, however, you are yourself, automatically you help yourself the best, you help everyone else the best, you automatically synchronistically attract all the things you really need to support you in your life. You automatically, intuitively know exactly what opportunities to act upon automatically because they contain the highest energy that you begin to recognize as the energy of yourself. Everything works flawlessly, effortlessly, help anyone. And you don't support the whole picture if you are not the puzzle piece that you were designed to be. Make sense?
Yeah. Have one more question?
Well, you're welcome. Go ahead.
I'm also interested in our relationship, maybe past lives or anything between Lorna and me.
How interested?
How interested?
Yes, is this idle curiosity or
well, it's actually her curiosity.
Consuming, burning desire?
It's her consuming desire, actually.
Is that so? Female?
Vaguely interested.
Vaguely interested. Well, I'll tell you this for now. Obviously, you have had life experiences before. The idea really simply is to trust your instincts and intuition. If it is really important for you to know any specific so-called past life, which is really just a simultaneous co-occurrence going on right now in another vibrational bandwidth, right here, right now. It's not in the past, remember? If you really have any interest to know about that, all you have to do is find out what particular era in your so-called history you are most strongly attracted to. And you will find that that's a connection you're making from the present that for some reason you believe needs to be made because that particular life experience may have something that can benefit the life experience you are living now. So, follow your instincts on this. And it isn't always necessary that you have to know that. It doesn't necessarily guide you any more strongly than any definition you could simply create in the present about who it is you prefer to be. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
To both of you?
Yeah.
Does that help both of you?
Yeah, very much.
Yes, yes. 1 and 2. Number 2, do you know who you are? All right. Number 1, good day. Or should I say,
aloha.
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 All right.
I wanted to ask you about. I got a.
Like the genie of your fable and the magic lamp, you are allowed 3.
Okay.
Statements or questions. Number 1.
I got a bruise a couple days ago, and I was up all day, and I found it during the day. And I was wondering that I didn't remember bruising myself, and I know that they could get me and me not know it. I was wondering if that was extraterrestrial related or not. It's kind of a darker one, and
in what location?
On my left knee, just a little above my knee. And that night, right before I went to bed, actually it was in the morning, all of a sudden my finger felt like I'd sprained it, and I didn't do anything.
Is this another question?
No, that's part of the first one. Well, I didn't know it might have been related.
Let's just say it is related, and the answer to your first question in general is yes.
Very good.
Number 2.
The weavers and the light through stained glass?
Yes. These are references to 2 other extraterrestrial races that we have said can only represent their names in your language as A, the weavers, and light through stained glass. That's how their names and their essence translate into your reality. Go ahead.
My question being,
yes,
are any of those group, either civilization, working with me directly?
In some senses, yes. Number 3?
What's the difference between the energy that's created from the pyramids and the cones?
Do you mean of the same relative shape? Let us say your Great Pyramid of Giza and a cone of the same general proportions. What's the difference?
Yes, exactly.
Thank you. Not too much. The idea, however, is that the cone will more fundamentally represent the ability of the energy to radiate in a spiral or circular fashion, whereas the 4-sided pyramidal form will focus energy more like a prism or a crystal. But it is using the same energy, basically. But for the idea of acting as an antenna for radiation of the energy, the cone is more appropriate. Or the pyramid can do that, but it requires very specific focusing apparatus in what you would call its apex in order to do so.
And the cone just does it automatically?
The cone just does it. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Genie.
And yourself, Aladdin. Number 2.
Hi, Bashar.
And to you, good day.
I have a few questions.
Oh, all right, a few.
When you had given us the imagery of the first split-off of the angelic realm,
yes,
you had discussed the dark and light magnifying glasses.
Yes.
And when we spoke last, you told me that I was focused through the goddess energy.
Yes.
Could you give me the imagery of where that is in that picture you're building for us?
Off to the side. In other words, as you imagine the idea that we spoke about of, shall we say, lying down, for example, and having the idea of the positive angelic split off at your head, the negative angelic split off at your feet, you will find that the polarizations of the female energy is across the heart line left and right on either side. Does that make sense to you?
Well, yeah, that's what I experienced, but I was wondering in the picture of when you're discussing the point of consciousness that is not aware yet, and then when it's the first reflection, when it becomes the angelic realm.
Yes.
In that type of diagram?
In that type of diagram, it is everywhere imbued within it, just as the male energy is, because it hasn't yet differentiated itself.
Okay, but when you said I was focused through it, I'm wondering where it is then differentiated.
In the focal point itself. In that focal point of the light and the dark coming back into a centered point. You follow? From the one to the 2 lenses coming back to a centered point.
Mm-hmm.
After it's going through the allegorical lenses of light and dark, that point, depending upon how it comes through the light and dark lenses, will determine what the concoction or recipe is of that focal point. And that focal point then can be the goddess energy, the god energy, anything at all that it wishes to be, depending upon the angle of focus and the creation of that point. Your angle of focus is such that you are experiencing that focal point more in the exploration of the goddess energy to some degree. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
Might be what euphemistically is called the Isis point.
Mm-hmm. Okay, maybe this would... I have this picture in my head.
Well, then
of like, and if we talked
Define
about
the picture.
Archangel Michael and Archangel Lucifer
Yes.
as being the archetype, one of the archetypes that
Symbolically. Yes.
So then would the Virgin Mary be, in a sense, the light
Yes.
female, and then Mary the Magdalene be the dark female?
Well, in a sense, yes. Although this is not necessarily meant as bad and good.
Oh, I know.
Yes.
I know that.
We know you know, but we're not just talking to you, are we?
Okay.
Thank
No.
you.
Well, yes, you are, but
Not just you.
it was a joke that we're all one.
I know.
But anyway.
We're laughing.
Okay. Really? I guess you didn't think it was that funny. Anyway, okay, let's move on. A few months ago, you had talked about negative chakras below the body.
In a sense, yes.
Can you give a brief description of that?
The idea is that those are the things that connect, the energy centers that connect into the earth itself, into the core of the earth itself, and into other lower dimensional realms, such as what you would call second, first, and zero dimension points, to allow you to know that you span the multitudinous dimensions of existence, coming up from the zero through the more basic and fundamental physical realities and going up into higher dimensional physical realities and then into non-physical realities above that.
Okay, so the seven that are normally talked about
In the body.
is for third dimension?
In a sense, yes.
Okay. And so then how many chakras would be in second dimension and first dimension below the body?
In that sense, as far as you
There's
understand
seven?
it, one in each.
One in each.
Yes, so three below you.
Okay. Would
Two,
they
one,
would
zero.
Okay, would they break down into seven aspects or just
In each dimension?
Yes, okay. Just asking.
Yes, I know.
Okay.
Do you feel that in that sense we are somehow being hard on you?
Oh, I hope so.
As you wish.
As you wish. Okay.
Your goddess energy is coming out.
So is your God.
Yes.
Yes.
We are only the polarized reflection.
Oh, you did it first.
It is simultaneous. It cannot be otherwise. This, of course, you already know. And know that we are joking with you.
Yeah. But there's a lot of truth in jokes.
Of course.
Okay, next question.
Yes.
How many dimensions are there?
Infinite.
Okay.
But in any given reality domain, there are generally 10.
Okay. Can you give a brief description of each dimension?
As understood, the idea, first of all, of the 0 point, there being the idea of the initiation, the undifferentiated oneness that is unaware of itself. Then there is the one-dimensional idea that typically would be experienced in your reality as the idea of a line, then two-dimensionally as a plane, flat, with no thickness, then your third-dimensional reality of physical height with depth, then fourth-dimensional reality of recognizing that you are the reality itself that you thought you existed in other words, that you see through it almost in X-ray fashion, that you know you contain it, but still are individuated as a personality construct to some degree. Then fifth density reality, the idea that you no longer really experience yourself exactly as physical, but not exactly completely non-corporeal. You have kind of a plastic energy state of consciousness that begins to connect into other reality domains as well on the same level. Then sixth density consciousness, where you become a collective consciousness, aware of self, more as containing individuated things, but more aware of the self as one idea. And then you have the idea above that of seventh as being reflective of being the higher dimensional reality domain itself. In other words, being a whole dimension unto itself that is non-physical, contains all the physical dimensions below it or quasi-physical dimensions below it. Then you have the idea of being multidimensional, but still recognizing yourself as a connection between all the dimensions. Then above that, you have the idea of experiencing the oneness of all those dimensions. Then you have above that the experience of oneness that is aware of itself. Again, and then above that, you have the undifferentiated oneness. Again, completing the circle. Does that make sense to you?
Yes. And I had one other question.
Yes.
Well, actually, I have a lot more, but I'm only going to give one more.
All right.
Is there any indication of when the observer will speak again?
One moment. It is possible and perhaps even likely, what you would call probable, that what we have referred to as the observer may initiate a communication in what you would call your upcoming month of March. More specific than that, we cannot be in your time frame.
Thank you.
At this timing, we will extend to each and every one of you once again our deep appreciation in allowing our civilization to communicate with your civilization in this way and on this day through this window. Our unconditional, ecstatic love to each and every one of you, and again, we remind you, be aware of the relationship between all things and yourself, for that relationship is the key and the door and the window to understanding that all things are you, and that you are all things that you experience your reality to be. Again, live your dreams. They are who you are. Our unconditional love and joy to each and every one of you, and all together. Good day. Let go. You're welcome. Thank you all for being here tonight. Have a good night. I'll see you again. Thanks for coming. Winnie?